Hassan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay. The name Toby Amusan, I'm sure must be on your mind as I speak.
Absolutely.
Aren't you surprised that she didn't make a statement at the games?
Well, I won't say I was surprised. You know, Toby Amusan she's a human being. You know, going into the Olympics, our best chances of winning medals were from Toby Amusan and S.A. Brume. Reason being that Toby Amusan at this point in time going into the Olympics was probably the hottest 110-meter hurdler in the world. And S.A. Brume, going by the surprise she pulled at the Tokyo Olympics, everybody anticipated that the experience she would have gained from the previous Olympics would have propelled her to win a medal. But you see, I'm not surprised they didn't make it. You see, at the Olympics, that's where your colleagues transform from athletes to machines. They know that this comes in, Olympics are once every 4 years. It's not like the annual meets that they have where they can run against each other on several times. But there are athletes that will participate in this Olympics, and the next Olympics, they will fade out. So when you come to the Olympics, you must come with your A game. You know, in Nigeria, we have the talent, no doubt. But you see, over time, we have not figured out how we want to fund sports in this country. The chairman of the Badminton Federation, if he's to come out openly and tell you that, yes, they qualified in Ghana, but before they could get to Ghana to qualify, they had to struggle to raise funds. And as an athlete, you don't need those kind of distractions. Let us ask ourselves, when did we start our training camp in Germany? You know, when did other countries start their training camp in Germany? You know, I've done a lot of analysis. I've looked at our competitors in Africa. Our competitors in Africa are the likes of South Africa, Botswana, Ivory Coast, and all of that. If you look at what they spend on sports compared to what Nigeria is spending on sports, you will know that we have not started. Permit me to just give you some figures. You know, in South Africa, this year, the budget for sports is 6.3 billion rand. 6.3 billion rand in dollars, that's $366 million. Botswana, a country of 2.7 million people, their budget for sports is $78 million. In Morocco, Moroccan Football Federation, their budget this year, $150 million. Women's football in Morocco, they get $65 million annually. But let me shock you. The almighty Nigeria, the giant of Africa, our budget this year for sports is 31 billion. Convert that to dollars, that's $20 million. $20 million. So when people are disappointed saying that we didn't perform at the Olympics, I always tend to tell people that we overachieved. We know a lot of these athletes. We know what they go through. We know the wear and tear their bodies go through. What is Nigeria's contribution to their training? Let me tell you, to win an Olympic medal, you need to train 1,000 hours annually for 3.5 years. That's what it takes to win an Olympic medal. Now, once you train, you need a nutritionist, you need a physiotherapist, you need your athletic trainer, you need the medicals. It's not rocket science. The world has realized that, you know what, sports is big business. So the era of saying you came and pulled a surprise, you shocked everybody, is non-existent. We are celebrating our women's basketball team, yes. But how many players on the basketball team were groomed in Nigeria? Only one player, Murjanatu Musa, and I know what that girl went through before she got a chance to go and play in Spain, and now she played for Nigeria. As I'm speaking to you, Nigeria doesn't have a playable basketball facility in this country. Yet we are celebrating that Nigeria is ranked number 12 in the world. But we don't have a facility. So while we want to complain and blame the athletes, I always tend to look at it from another angle. We must think of a sustainable way of funding sports in this country. Waiting for the ministry will not take us to the promised land. Permit me to give you some models that are being adopted around the world. In Jamaica, they have the Sports Development Foundation. The Sports Development Foundation, they are responsible for funding the federations, aside from the other funds that come from the ministry. How do they generate these funds? The lottery in Jamaica, the taxes from lottery go to the Sport Development Foundation. That way, if the chairman of the Badminton Federation in January says, you know what, my athlete must participate in 20 tournaments around the world, they say, okay, what's your budget? He says, my budget is $100,000, $200,000. They said, okay, here's your budget. You must get results for us. They are not waiting for the annual budgetary provisions from the ministry, because you know how haphazard budgetary provisions are. In South Africa, they have what you call the South African Foundation and Olympic Committee. They are responsible for funding federations. Under that program, you have what you call OPEX, Operational Excellence Program. the Operational Excellence Program identifies their medal hopefuls in the Olympics, and they start funding them 4 years ahead of time. Some of them, even as far as when they are in secondary schools, they start funding them. So this program identifies the best talents that can win medals for them in the future. Once they start funding them, they take them off the federations and say, you know what, federations, these are our babies. These are our potentials that will win medals for us. Go and look for more athletes for us. If they fit the criteria, then we will now adopt them.
Yeah,
lastly, let me tell you, any country, just 1 point please, 1 point please. Any country you visit in the world, the mecca for athletics is what you call a high performance center. I've been to the high performance center in Pretoria. I've been to several high performance centers in America. Once you visit a high performance center, what the high performance center does, it converts you from a human being to a machine. In Nigeria, we don't have a high performance center. The best facility we have here is the National Stadium. I knew Ogazi, Samuel Ogazi, he came 7th in the 400 meters at the Olympics. Last year, when he was training for the Trinidad and Tobago Junior Championship, I was watching him at the stadium there. He was running at the training facility. The training facility there was built in 2002. The tracks there were laid in 2002. The average lifespan of a track is 10 years. We're talking of 22 years later, the guy who came 7th in the 400 meters in the Olympics, that was where he was training. We need to do better. We need to think of how we are going to fund sports. Once we sort that problem out, our minister will not be under pressure trying to explain a lot of the issues to Nigerians.
Yeah, Brother Hassan, at least you are the chairman of the Kogi State Football Association. At the Olympics, we made a statement in 1996, if you remember. So is it difficult to build on that achievement? Is it difficult?
The question I'll ask you is, what have we done since 1996? Let me answer the question. Many tend to forget. In 1996, we're coming from there was sustained investment in football. We had a coach who had been with us. Clemens Westerhoff came in 1989. He took us to 1994. In 1996, his assistant, Joe Bonfore, was the one who took us to the Olympics. You understand? And I remember Chioma Ajunwa winning gold in long jump. We didn't expect it.
Yes.
None of us believed that we could. No one was even watching long jump. Everybody was hoping that we'll win football. So yes, we did well, but did we make the right investments for Chioma Ajunwa to win gold? I would say no. You understand? But since then, what has been happening is still been the same haphazard way of trying to fund sports. Not until we change the way we fund sports in this country. Trust me, as long as we are waiting for the annual budget, compare the budget from London 2012 to this Olympics. You can see that the budget is depreciating because of the currency devaluation that has taken place over the years. You know, so we need to change the way we fund sports. You know.
All right. Let me add this one. Boxing used to be a strong point for us at the Olympics. Not even in Africa. Even in the last, when did we do anything tangible in boxing at the Olympics?
It's been ages we did anything. I think the last I remember, maybe the likes of Donkwan Dokwari, when he was doing heavyweight Olympic boxing. But again, like I said, it boils down to infrastructure and investment. Do we have a world-class boxing facility in this country? We don't. So what do you expect? Where are the athletes going to train? Then you look at nutrition. Athletes are coming to train in the morning. They drink pure water and manage maybe puff-puff and meat pie. After burning all that energy, there are no nutrients, no supplement. After that, they manage one mama put, maybe eat eba and egusi or something. You know, that's not how an athlete is developed. You understand? An athlete, you treat him like egg. He gets premium nutrients. You know, he must have the right meal set to propel him to greatness. See, let me tell you. Yes.
Hassan, in a nutshell, because we want our people to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Take us through the American model that ensures that consistently they are excelling in sports and they are the best in the world. What is the model? How have they been able to work with corporate institutions to fund athletes and to ensure that they create world beaters? How do they do it?
You know, in America, they have a saying that sports is big business. They know that once you get the best out there and they're doing very well, it will be easy to get the private sector involved in sports. In America, they have what you call the Olympic Development Program. I'll narrow it down to, I'll use examples like Nigeria. For example, if you have the Olympic Development Program in Nigeria, it means, for example, at any ward, any local government, at any given point in time, when they ask you who is the best person in football here, they say this person. If they say who is the best 100-meter runner, they have that program across the country. So what ends up happening is that at any given point in time, they already know who their best athletes are across the country. That way, they are able to attract funding. Also, you cannot neglect the fact that they have world-class infrastructure. Some of the time, when we say we are going for training camp in some of these countries, they are giving us secondary school infrastructure to use. You understand? Because they are world-class facilities. But here, can you name any secondary school in Nigeria that even has a decent sporting facility? No. You understand? So even if we want to adopt this program, we must understand that it's multifaceted. First, you must sort out funding for the federations. Secondly, you must sort out your infrastructure challenges. In my humble opinion, the role of the ministry is strictly policy, infrastructure development, and maintenance. You understand? They need not be involved. The minister need not be involved in telling us who is the fastest 100-meter runner in the country. That's not his business. You understand? The president of the Badminton Federation is the one who will tell us who the best badminton players are in this country. And this is how, these are the programs they're embarking on, and please provide the funding for it. You understand? Once we sort out those things, the ecosystem will be solid, and we'll start getting, see, let me tell you, Nigerians have natural sheer willpower. I've never seen a country like this in my life, where with little, they will achieve greatness. Imagine if you do 30% of what's obtainable in some of these countries. We'll be the best country in the world. Yes, sir.
All right, sorry. Let me talk with Brother Francis Obi. Brother Francis, let's quickly go through this. I know you remember that an oil major in this country, Mobil, Nigeria, used to fund athletics or put money down. At what stage did we drop the ball? Or what happened?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not in athletics, but I'll tell you something that from my own experience when I came in, I realized that we have a huge trust deficit, especially in sports administration. Everybody feels that sports money put to sports is going to be spent and will not be accounted for, and it will not be judiciously spent for what it is meant for. So I will tell you from my own federation experience, we had to try and build that confidence and trust. Let people know that if you give us 10 million, that money is going to be spent for what. So it's a very huge problem. I don't know what happened with Mobile that they dropped, but I must say something here. My brother here, in fact, as he was speaking, I was just shaking my head. And that's what, it brings certain things to the fore. Funding, and that's why, you know, I said it earlier, 3 years, 4 years, people are preparing for the next Olympics. But here, 6 months, 2 months, 3 months. When did we go to Germany for the foreign camp? 2 weeks of training. That's what we had in Germany. And then people who have been training for 3 years, we intend to go there and beat them. It's not possible. Now, funding. And I say something. We must give something to this government. Give it to them. Money was released. We had 12 billion. So, in fact, that's what is making people more agitated. There's so much money. At the last Olympics, they were giving 2 billion. Forget about the devaluation of the naira. But no government, I mean, in my own this thing, from my own experience, has given so much to sports within a short time. But I will tell you that the only challenge, and that's because that's what has been the practice. Rio, the money for Rio Olympics was given when the team was already in Brazil. But this time around, I hear money was released about a week or some days to the Paris Olympics. Now, that money, part of it was meant for preparation, training, and all that. If you bring that money at that time, what are you going to achieve? So, for me, what I want to appeal, government has done well. They've, at least for once, they've shown that sports should be given some form of attention. Timing for release of funds is very critical. If it's released late, you will not achieve much. And then 2, he said something about funding. So this, you talked about Mobile. You must create an enabling environment for the private sector to be interested. If it's not, then infrastructure. I mean, these are things. So look at the stadium. He just said it now. He gave an example. I told somebody, we don't have a single badminton playing facility in Nigeria. If you have a badminton hall that is dedicated for badminton, it's a private member club where nobody can just go in. It's not open to the public. So, and it's one thing that we, as a federation, we have been working on to at least have a home. And he talked about high performance center. Those are the places we try to send our players to abroad to be able to be competitive. There's none here. There's none in Africa for badminton.
Oh,
No,
Francis,
so, you know,
how do we have a slew of young badminton players that we can bank on in the years to come? You know, because I remember the days of Egbeyemi, you know, he was very popular, he was an African champion, and he reigned for years. Do we have some young badminton players coming through at this time to reignite?
Yes, we have.
That
in fact, yes, we have. I must tell you that as a federation, since last year, we started a program, Shuttle Time, and that program is specifically targeted at schools. So we are taking badminton to the grassroots. So we go there, introduce the game, we bring equipment, we teach the games masters, we bring some students to train, and then we release equipment to them to go and start the game in their schools. Yes, we started that. Then we have age grade. So right now we have younger players who are waiting. I mean, once Anu is leaving the scene, they are ready to step in. We just have those group under 15, under 19. And that is the only way. But I can tell you something, that in the past few years, because if you have these players, you must expose them to competition. And not only within here, you take them to the African continental competitions to expose them. But if you don't do that, you can play here forever and you think you are good. The next day you go out here, you meet somebody who will just make a bit of food.
Thank you,
so
brother.
Those are the issues.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Francis. I wish you Godspeed as we prepare for Los Angeles 2028. Wish you well. Many thanks as well
Thank you very much.
Hassan Wada. Thank you very kindly for your time, sir.
My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Okay then. BKO, it was not all lost for us. Hear this one. Rene Wakama voted best coach of the women's basketball tournament.
Yes, and
but no medal comes with that.
No, it doesn't. You see, people, we have to be realistic. That was the first time an African team will get to the quarterfinal of basketball women at the Olympics. And don't forget, Angola, for example, basketball is their national sport.
That's it.
You know, they used to dominate everyone. But today, Nigeria is very good in basketball. We at least on the continent, we are doing well on the continent. People didn't give her a chance. I believe that if they had a better draw, because to beat Australia was not what anybody expected. And then they had to face the US. That's the best in the world, you know, in that category. So to beat, when you encounter, the draw must favor you a little bit, even when you want to make progress. So if the draw had favored them a little bit, maybe they will have reached the final, or they will have reached the semi-final, where they can then contest for the bronze medal. But she's done very, very well, you know, for a Nigerian woman, and to be ranked the best in the world. Best female basketball coach. I think she's done very well. Now we have to take it further, you know, and ensure that this team does not slide. Having been among the best 8 in the world, we have to build on that.
We must go. We must go. Biko, it's when you talk Nigeria and sports, you are near to tears, but tears would not help anything. No, we must do the right thing.
Do the right thing.
Okay, folks, that will just about do it for today's show. If you missed any part of this, not to worry. Later tonight at 11, a repeat broadcast will take your airtime. So take advantage then. And on Sunday, we expand the field for you for 2 hours from between 1:30 and 3:30 p.m. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye now. Take care.